The good life, full of fun, seems to be the...
Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Another exciting day in my kitchen. We're going down memory lane today, a little nostalgia. We're gonna make some gooey, chewy, fudgy chocolate brownies. So I say it with some fun and a little enthusiasm. This is just such a great recipe. It's simple, it's easy, it's fast. And it's very similar to what my mother used to make when I was a kid. You know, one of those favorite days, I'm sure you guys remember, that you'd walk in when you were a little kid. At least I hope you have that memory. And mom or our mom or dad would be making some chocolate brownies, you know, and the smell of that, and to take a bite of that. Not when it's right out of the oven, but not certainly when it's cold. When it's a little bit warm, man, that is good. Sometimes you can throw a little vanilla ice cream on there, a little whipped cream, not so bad. So I want to share with you that recipe from my childhood with a little bit of Joe Borio mixed in. So this is going to be great. So when you look at brownies, a lot of times you can have a fudgy brownie or you can have a cakey brownie. So cakey is kind of like a chocolate cake, if you almost like a cupcake. And that's a little too cakey for me, but I'm not a fan of like eating a piece of fudge, you know, as a brownie, if you will. So this one really, I call it the perfect brownie because it actually fits just perfect. It's a little bit of the best of both. So it's going to give you a little bit of lighter feel, a little bit of a cookie feel, I think is more accurate. Boy, it's going to be chocolate and deep and chewy. It's going to be absolutely delicious. So let's get right to it. So we're going to start with 4 whole eggs. Try to get the eggs about room temp. They'll always mix better. So 4 whole eggs, 1 cup of white sugar. We're going to do a splash of coffee. What's a splash of coffee? Probably about 1/4 of a cup, thereabouts. I've never really measured it before. I didn't measure it now. You won't taste coffee, so don't be scared away with coffee, and if you're uncomfortable with it, just don't throw it in. But with a splash of coffee, say a 1/4 cup, coffee is going to bring out the flavor of your chocolate. So that's what coffee does. So you won't even taste the coffee, but it'll enhance, just like vanilla, if you will, or salt. You won't necessarily taste the salt, but it'll enhance certainly the flavor of the chocolate, which is great. We've got 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, so pure vanilla extract if you can, that's great. I've got 1 cup of flour, pastry flour, 00 flour, cake flour, that's the one you want ideally, right? And then I've got 1 cup of walnuts. Now when I throw walnuts in, we're going to throw those in the end, but if you don't want walnuts, by all means, don't throw them in, just make a brownie. If you want to throw some chocolate chips in, you want to throw almonds in, hazelnuts, anything else, you're going to mix it all and then you're going to fold that in right in the end. I happen to like the walnuts, so that's why I threw them in there, or the noche. And then what I have in here is 1 teaspoon of baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder. And that's going to give me just a little bit of a lift. Not a lot, a little bit. I've got 1.5 sticks of butter, and then I've got 10 ounces, now not to make this complicated, but I got 10 ounces of chocolate. I've got 5 ounces of unsweetened and 5 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, and I've got a really good quality, okay? So get a nice, good quality. Unless you're making it quicker for people you don't like about it, then don't spend a lot of money for the chocolate. I'm just kidding. And then we're going to use olive oil. Obviously, we're not going to use olive oil in this recipe, but I always got to do my plug. I got a farm in Italy, down in Puglia. My 2 sons, Vito and Joey, we opened up an olive oil business for them. You can get it right online. You can get it on our Facebook. You can get it on our website, Cooking Italian with Joe, where many of our recipes are, or you can grab it right on Amazon. I'll tell you, that olive oil is Italian olives. They're grown right in our farm or several other farms that we co-op with. Absolutely delicious. Probably the best olive oil you'll ever have. It's grassy. It's got a little pepper kick to it. It's earthy. It's just absolutely delicious. Extra virgin olive oil, so make sure you jump online and grab a bottle of it. All right guys, here we go. So we're right over the stove. I set up myself a little double boiler, and I've got the oven preheated at 325. So I've got my 10 ounces of chocolate, and I just got a pan with a heat tempered bowl, okay? And I'm throwing in my chocolate in there. I'm gonna get that to melt, is what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna just get the chocolate to melt, and then once that melts, which I'll show you, I'm going to melt the 1.5 sticks of butter. I'm going to melt everything right in there. So I'm going to let this go, and then we're going to start mixing those other ingredients. So let me get you over to the mixer. I'll show you exactly how to get that started. What we want to do here is cream the eggs. Ideally, when you cream an egg, you change the texture chemically. So what happens is it makes it more of a custard, so it's going to give you a deeper, chewier flavor, texture, and feel to your brownie, okay? So I've got 4 whole eggs. And then I've got my sugar, so I've got my 1 cup of sugar. All right, and I'm going to cream this essentially until they get, or whip it until they get creamy. All right, guys, it's been about 3 minutes. I'll tell you, that tastes good. There's a dish my father used to make. It's called aviborto, which is basically egg yolks only, sugar and vanilla, and it makes like that custard you put on top of a latte. Oh, awesome. See, that comes out just beautiful like a custard. So that's the eggs and that sugar and that vanilla. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so we're good. So I'm gonna mix it at a very slow level, but I'm gonna put my splash of coffee in there. Oh, I love coffee, right? And then I'm gonna put my baking powder, okay, in there. And then I'm gonna mix it really low. So right now I'm just trying to mix it, incorporate it. But then once I get it slowly incorporated, I'm gonna add the flour really slow, okay? I don't wanna dump it all in because it's gonna lead to clumps. I don't wanna clump it. All right, and now I've got that cup of flour. So I'm just gonna go nice and easy with it. And just tap it in. All right, we're chocolate making. So just to show you what this looks like, see how nice and beautiful and creamy that chocolate is? So now what I wanna do is I wanna add the butter. So I'm gonna add the butter and with the chocolate. So guys, I'm just gonna mix this up. Get that butter to mix. Oh, I'll tell you, the smell in here, unbelievable. It's starting to smell like Mom's kitchen, there's no doubt about it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch, right? I'm gonna take my spatula, and now within my cake, if you will, brownie mixture, which has got just a little air in there, but that's just from the cream into the eggs, okay? So I'm gonna get that mixed in well, and then I'm gonna take my chocolate. This bowl is just a little warm, so I'm gonna take my chocolate, and I'm gonna dump it right into my mixture, okay? So just so you guys can see what that's like, I'm just gonna mix that in, and you're gonna see how nice and chocolatey that gets right now. And we're just gonna keep mixing it. So we're gonna mix that batter now. So now I've got a beautiful mix. So now I'm gonna take my nuts, and I'm just gonna fold my nuts inside the mixture. So again, I like the noche. All right, so what I got here is I've got an 8 by 12 pan, all right, and then I buttered the inside of it, and then you just put parchment paper. That's the easiest thing to do. It just makes it so much nicer and easier. And now I've got a beautiful mix in my brownies, so now I'm just gonna pour that, you know, and then spread it right in the middle. So it's gonna give you about 1 inch to 1.5 inches thick brownie. Put it in the pan. I'm saving that for my son Vito, because he already said when he was out there running around with his lacrosse stick, when are the brownies going to be done, and can I have the bowl? So that's perfect. So I got the oven 325. I'm going to pop this in there. We're going to hit it for 325. One of my favorite tools in the kitchen. I'm going to set that for 25 minutes just to take a peek at it at 25, and then, you know, clean knife test is always the way to go, all right? Oh my God, can you guys see that right there? Is that beautiful? Is that beautiful? So what I'm gonna do is because we've got it in the parchment, right? I'm gonna pull that right out immediately, just so it cools. So I'm gonna cut through, like I said, I like walnuts, you know, nothing better than a warm brownie and a glass of milk. Oh my God, awesome or what? So I'm just gonna cut her through, right? And then I'll show you. Oh, look at that. Is that perfect? It's still got that density, but oh, that's beautiful. All right, guys, favorite part. Got a glass of milk. I'm not a big fan of the outside, so I'm just gonna go for the inside there. Oh, I'll tell you, it's warm. Oh, the chocolate. Oh, you can just, it's perfect. My mouth is watering right now. Man, that's good. Guys, give your kids a memory for the rest of their life. Make some brownies on a nice afternoon day. Let them come in, smell your kitchen full of chocolate and love and family. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. Let me share my heritage, set some traditions, my traditions with you. Have some fun in the kitchen, spend some time with your family. Until next week, guys, mwah, buon appetito.
Fun seems to be the ideal.